I could almost guarantee he'll drop Chase to like go tunnel her. Yeah.
Dead by Daylight has changed, and I think a lot of people haven't realized just how much it has. If you've been playing Survivor recently, you've probably felt or noticed games feel harder than ever. Yet somehow, killers are still complaining. So, today, I want to answer one question. Is Dead by Daylight actually killer-sided now? Or are survivors just coping with just losing every game? After looking at recent update statistics and what some of the biggest creators are saying, I think the answer is pretty obvious. Let's start with something people don't really think about. Dead by Daylight isn't the same game it was 2 years ago. Over the last several updates, we've seen survivor perks repeatedly get toned down, while killers have kept some of the strongest slowdown and chase tools in the game. Just to name a few: decisive strike nerfs, dead hard changes, circle of healing nerf, and medkit changes. None of these by themselves broke survivors, but together they completely changed how survivors have played. Here's where things get really interesting. Most survivors aren't playing with 4 people survive with friends super teams. They're solo queue players. So let's then talk about how those solo queue players have no communication. Teammates are always hiding. Sometimes you get a bad rescue save. You miss generators, you end up getting your 3-gen on yourself. Giving free pressure to the killer for no reason, just getting caught out because you don't hear comms on where the killer is. The killer doesn't have to outplay 4 coordinated players most games. They're playing against 4 strangers. Here's something people don't talk about enough. A survivor makes one mistake and they get down. A killer makes one mistake and the chase continues. One survivor mistake can snowball into 4, 5, 6. Just because survivors aren't communicating with each other, maybe you take a hit or you just pull off the hook when you should be doing a gen. It's a lot of mistakes that happen in a game that can really snowball for the killer into his favor. The best killers are really good. Okay, let's think about this. Nurse, Blight, Tokyo Ghoul. We're just naming a few, okay? Not every killer is overpowered, but the strongest killers, they ignore the mechanics survivors rely on. For example, Nurse, how she can just basically skip a loop if she's good enough, right? Immense map pressure from Blight. You can't really loop him too much in certain loops because his power is just so strong. So the really good killers are really strong. And that's why I think I see most of the problem at, alright? I'm not sitting here saying all the killers are super strong. Don't get me wrong, some people are really good with Trapper, right? Let's take Quiet Kills. Quiet Kills is a great Trapper player. He's really good with him. Why are killers still complaining? This is the part I found most interesting when I looked at everything. Even after all these survivor nerfs, killers still have legitimate complaints. They talk about how the maps are too big, how the RNG is too much. Certain survivor teams, top tier survival with friends teams. The problem is most killers don't play against tournament teams. They play against solo queue players. And let's be real, this game is not a tournament game. This game is not a tournament game. So we should not be trying to compare this game like, oh, in the recent tournament, a team of survivors won and escaped most of the time and blah blah blah, this and that. Bro, this is a casual game, bro. Let's not talk about this game being in the competitive scene. We've already know this game will not work in the competitive scene, but yet we still try and like act like it's a competitive game. Let's be real here. This is not a competitive game. That's why I believe Dead by Daylight has become killer-sided, not because killers are unbeatable, not because survivors can't escape, but because the average survivor has less control over the outcome of a match more than ever now, okay? Now, I know this is a controversial opinion, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is DBD actually killer-sided now, or do survivors just need to adapt? I'll be reading every comment. Let me know. Peace.